In the news tonight, government makes it harder for accused murderers and gun offenders to get bail. A man loses his home to fire after getting threatening text messages. A boat owner whose vessel was battered by Beryl is back in the water fishing. And in sports, Barbados under-19s complete the Windies Rising Stars Double.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you so much for tuning in. In our top story tonight, Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley is very worried about the prevalence of assault weapons in Barbados. She made the comments during her contribution to the Bail Bill 2024. Concern has been rife from all segments of society about the 26 murders on record so far for 2024, up from 21 recorded in 2023. 17 of the murders this year were committed using firearms.
There is no place in any civilized society, and certainly this country of ours, for assault weapons to be used, to be in possession, to even be in a museum. If you want to know what it looks like, watch it in a movie. But there is no place for it.
Ms. Motley says if left to her, she would ban all guns.
As Attorney General, I made the point very often that left to me, if I could deal with Barbados as a Greenfield society, Mia Motley, I'm talking now with the government or anybody, I would ban all guns because I don't really see the need for them in a civilized society. But the horse has bolted from that stable long time. And the capacity to be able to carry us back to a place where Australia or New Zealand or others are is not an easy trek. And the country may well have to have that conversation in the future. And you will know where I stand on it.
The bill was introduced in Parliament by Attorney General Dale Marshall, who pointed out that defendants will have to provide satisfactory evidence as to why they should be granted bail. He says the bill is based on South Africa's legislation, which has constitutional positions similar to Barbados.
So you're not getting bail unless you adduce evidence which satisfies the court that exceptional circumstances exist, which in the interest of justice permit your release. So you must produce evidence. So you can't just come to court and say that my client has a job, my client is a father of 4 children, my client is a hard-working man, my client has not had any other convictions, this is my client's first charge. Coming to court and making those bold statements are now a thing of the past, or they will become a thing of the past.
Acknowledging that if crime makes people feel unsafe, it could have an impact on the economy, Mr. Marshall said the authorities are redoubling efforts instead of panicking.
The level of firearm seizures is at an all-time high. We are going out there and intercepting vehicles and getting firearms, and not just old guns. We're getting AK-47s, those kind of things. Those are things that are being seized by the police service. Glocks. Those are things that are being seized by the police service that are in the hands of the criminal element.
Meanwhile, in his response, opposition leader Ralph Thorne says the proposed amendments do not go far enough. In his presentation that lasted for over 90 minutes, he asked authorities to address the various support staff shortages in the court system and establish a system of classification of the various degrees of murder. He also called for a redraft of the legislation.
It leaves the responsibility on the court. There is a long, convoluted process, almost a trial in itself, in which a bail application is now like a trial. It places the burden, the responsibility on the judges to determine whether a man should have bail, whereas previous legal dispensations parliamentary dispensations, acts of parliament, used to determine that bail would be denied in certain circumstances. We must have courage. We must have courage. And it is not that a parliament intends to erode freedoms, but it is that a parliament intends to create a society that is peaceful.
St. Michael man escaped with his life but saved nothing from his home when it was destroyed by fire this morning. And he doesn't believe the blaze was an accident. 65-year-old Anderson Bascom tells CBC News he was asleep at his Cave Hill Main Road home when he was awakened by a loud bang.
The time of the fire was in the bed, down sleeping, and I have to run out to save my life. I cannot save nothing. Not even a pair of shoes. Everything, completely lost everything. My ID, everything.
Mr. Bascom revealed he has been receiving threatening text messages and made numerous reports to the police. In fact, he'd spent several hours at the District A police station last night prior to the fire.
Yeah, the police have tremendous, about 4 pages of text messages and various messages that the person sent me. They say I was going to send information to cybercrime and they got to get processed and all kinds of stuff. I plead with them because the person threatened to kill my family and burn up my house, and I have no idea who it is and why they want to do that to us, because I'm not involved in no conflicts or no obligation with no one, and it's kind of heartbreaking.
Officers at the District A police station confirmed Mr. Bascom had made a report and the matter is under investigation. Fire officials say 2 tenders and officers from the Bridgetown and Port fire stations responded to the blaze around 1 o'clock this morning. They also confirmed that this is the second time in as many weeks that they've been called to a fire at the residence. The timber home was uninsured. One of the damaged fishing vessels has been repaired and today returned to the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex with a notable catch. And at least one fish vendor says Barbadians should expect to see an increase in prices soon. Rachel Agard has that story.
The first day of July brought despair to local fishermen, particularly those who had moored their boats at the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex. Hurricane Beryl had barreled through and all but destroyed their livelihoods. Just 29 days later, a sense of purpose has returned with at least one fisherman, Martin Jones, counting his blessings. His fiberglass boat was among those battered vessels. Now it is seaworthy again. Following repairs, Mr. Jones has been able to catch a variety of fish, including amberfish, dolphin, swordfish, and billfish.
It was kind of slow, but give thanks for everything, through all we went through. We're giving thanks for everything that had happened and happy to be back out in the ocean again, fishing and bringing fresh fish to the people to eat.
Mr. Jones is thanking the Barbados Coast Guard for assisting the fishing industry, while adding that he is heading back into the ocean this weekend.
Give kudos to the Barbados Coast Guard, the fishing in the Barbados fisheries, and all for all they have done in helping us to be back out there.
While Mr. Jones's catch is welcome, there is a scarcity of fresh fish, and with it, the signs that prices may rise. Well-known vendor Sharon Bellamy Thompson alludes to this while indicating that today's catch will only last until Monday.
As it has now started back after like 3 weeks, well, you know there will be a little, not much, but just a little cost in the fish, a little, just over probably $1 or so more on each fish. Some will remain the same as the catches are not that plentiful as yet.
Despite the current situation, fisherfolk are hoping that the crowd will return to the fish markets as they are open for business. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Thanks, Rachel. And coming up on NewsNight, an increase in cruise calls for the first 4 months of this year. Barbados recorded a 5% increase in cruise calls for the first 4 months of 2024. That's according to Minister of Tourism and International Transport Ian Gooding-Edgell, who says the country continues to benefit from the overall growth in the cruise sector. Mr. Gooding-Edgell was addressing the opening of a seminar on supplying the global cruise industry with Barbadian products.
For the first 4 months of 2024, we saw a 5% increase in cruise calls over 2023. Given the importance of the tourism sector in leading this country's economic expansion and in keeping with our mandate to increase revenues, it is therefore necessary that all facets of growth be explored. Provisioning is one key method of paramount importance, as it can facilitate greater intersectoral linkages between the local manufacturing and agriculture sectors and our international cruise partners.
Minister of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security Indar Ware supports efforts to have local stakeholders in agriculture supplying cruise lines with their products. According to him, cruise lines are currently in talks with local poultry producers to procure table eggs and chicken products.
We can take that a step further, and that is a conversation that I eagerly look forward to the poultry stakeholders having with you. Equally, we have a vibrant Pig Farmers Association of Barbados, and Barbados pork is considered proper pork. Proper pork meaning that the farmers claim to know their pigs personally, as the ad would say, and that the quality of our meat is such that visitors to these shores will always look forward to enjoying a pork chop or a pork cutter in Barbados. These are the things that we can do and do well. And through the Barbados Agricultural Society, I'm sure you have a partner in whom you can trust and be able.
Mr. Ware adds that in addition to bulk, the agriculture sector can also provide cruise ships with value-added products that would be produced through collaboration with Export Barbados's Food Science Center.
Let us make it abundantly clear that we value the cruise ship partners. And we value your contribution to Barbados' economic development. And therefore, we in agriculture will make sure that we tick the right boxes to make sure that you are satisfied. The one thing that I know is that consistency of supply is always at the core of every conversation. And this is a responsibility that we have to take and take it seriously. To strategize and make sure that we are able to meet the demands and equally reach the standards that are expected of us, we must work together.
More doctors are showing an interest in pursuing further studies after successfully completing their degree in medicine. Word of this from Dean in the Faculty of Medicine at the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus, Dr. Damien Kohal. Rachel Eargard interviewed him and filed this report.
The distinction to be conferred.
41 student doctors have completed the requirements to become interns on their quest to become doctors. And Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences at the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus, Dr. Damien Kohal, says an increasing number of graduates from the program are showing interest in the academic medicine route to fight the silent pandemic of non-communicable diseases. He was speaking following this year's oath-taking ceremony at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
After finishing an MBBS degree, they move into public health. They do masters in public health. We have a few graduates who are doing research-based programs in public health, masters of philosophy in public health. We are now in the midst of discussions about a global health program. So not only COVID, but we have been seeing, a silent pandemic, and that pandemic has always, been our burden of chronic non-communicable diseases, and we're also seeing an uptick in interest by our medical graduates to lead not by advocacy only, but to actually portray actions that can help to limit the burden of non-communicable diseases that we see.
Additionally, Dr. Kohal says while the males excelled in this year's inaugural objective structured clinical examination unified exams, more females are taking up the challenge to become doctors. He adds the exams were changed in consultation with government organizations and non-governmental organizations to facilitate a better rounded doctor.
This is a trend that is right across the campuses. In fact, it's not only for medicine, but for quite a number of the degree programs that are offered by the UWI. But interestingly, even within the statistical disadvantage that the males face because they are outnumbered by females, this year we saw the two top performing students. This was the student that had the best overall performance written and also performance in the OSCE clinical exam, being a male, and that same student and another male student being the top clinical performers.
The doctors have pledged to do their best as they embark on their new journey. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Barbados has retained a top spot as the country with the most powerful passport in the Caribbean. According to the latest 2024 Henley Passport Index, the country has moved up by 2 and is now ranked 20th in the world with a visa-free score of 165. This means that Barbadian passport holders can travel to 165 countries visa-free. In the Caribbean rankings, Barbados is followed by the Bahamas with a score of 161 and St. Kitts and Nevis with 157. The most powerful passport in the world belongs to Singapore, which has visa-free access to 195 destinations, while the least powerful passport in the world belongs to Afghanistan.
The Business Report, brought to you by the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, a department of the Ministry of Youth and Community Empowerment, supporting young entrepreneurs from idea to enterprise.
Network Yes, the Cropover edition was a resounding success. Acting manager of the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, Ryan Mosley, tells the Yes Business Report it was a mix and mingle for budding entrepreneurs. Trevor Thorpe has that story.
The location for Network Yes, the Cropover edition, was the penthouse at Lime Grove. An acting manager of the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, Ryan Mosley, tells the Yes Business Report the 4-hour-long exercise was an opportunity for experienced and inexperienced entrepreneurs to share ideas and get answers to questions. During the evening's proceedings, young entrepreneur Stefan Marshall of Terrell's Photo walked away with the top prize for the 30-second business pitch.
Photography is the art of representation, and I believe that every business deserves to have the best photography possible. I'm not trying to say that I'm the best photographer, but I might be the best photographer for you. It's as simple as that. So quite frankly, even though I specialize in certain genres, I have spent time overseas, I've spent time here mastering and owning my craft to the point that I can say that I am one of the local photography masters.
Mr. Mosley says from the success of the Cropover Mix and Mingle edition, a roadmap is in place.
We are already thinking about Global Entrepreneurship Week, which comes off in November. We're already thinking about World Entrepreneurship Day, I think comes off in August. We have some plans in the pipelines. We are now working on them, building them out. We are planning for a breakfast session where we have persons come and talk to the entrepreneurs, and then we are planning a lecture where we have someone actually talk about the journey of entrepreneurship, you know, the critical success factors that enable entrepreneurship. So we have some plans in the pipeline. We are actively working towards bringing them to fruition, and at the end of the day, all of this is geared towards ensuring that our entrepreneurs are exposed to all the rudiments of entrepreneurship, hear from others here from the latest research into entrepreneurship. So we are preparing them for the journey, and we trust that they will respond and they will take full advantage of the efforts from the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme.
The Yes official gave some background to the Mix and Mingle.
Our intention was to pair the more established and experienced clients with the younger, up-and-coming, emerging clients. There was plenty of activity and programming to ensure that took place. We had a lot of camaraderie. Entrepreneurs definitely were well paired. We saw the exchange of ideas, we saw the exchange of experiences, and that was the main effort that we were trying to put out there, so younger entrepreneurs can learn from the older entrepreneurs to see where they would have fallen down and to ensure that they avoid those mistakes. So definitely we had that coming through. We had fun. We allowed persons to have a social environment where they can still do business, and we are extremely satisfied with the outcome tonight.
The YES official says the feedback from the exercise was good, the interactions positive, and objectives met. According to him, it sets the stage for the remainder of the year. Trevor Thorpe for the YES Business Report.
Starting next Tuesday, Barbadians depositing checks will have access to their funds within one business day. This is because the Central Bank of Barbados is modernizing its payment system through the check digitization program. And Governor of the bank, Dr. Kevin Greenidge, says this move is critical to facilitate real-time payments and the ease of doing business.
Since October 2023, we have been working with the commercial banks on a check digitization project that will then reduce the time it takes to clear local checks. You know, right now it takes anything between 3 and 5 days. The goal for us is to reduce that to one business day. So you can get your funds, when you deposit your check, you will get it almost immediately.
Additionally, the governor says, like all new systems, they expect teething issues and have allowed for a testing phase.
Some banks may not be able to clear those checks within the day or so. We've asked the commercial banks to work with their customers whose checks present print qualities that are not up to standard, and we have given them 6 months to get it all done correctly, so that anybody who writes a check will be able to benefit from the one business day processing, clearing early in 2025.
Well, let's say welcome back, Mark, for the second half in sports. Mark, what do you have for us?
We're going to have some road tennis where the Barbados Open 2024 has started with the opening exchanges at Belfield in St. Michael. Let's have a look at 3 of those matchups. There was nothing short of support for the players as the Barbados Road Tennis Open served off. Now, after winning the first set 21-8, Shimon Weeks in the black continued with his winning ways in the second, going in for the kill to take this point. His opponent, Winslow coach Burkett, tried to put up a fight in this rally, but he hit the ball long, giving the point again to Weeks. Burkett with the serve, and Weeks continued with that strong backhand. That energy throughout the set made it difficult for his opponent as Burkett found the net. Weeks would continue to dominate, ending the second game with another sow, 21-4, and to take the 2-love series win. Next was Winston Griffith, back in the camera, falling short to Seth Best, who won game number 1 in a sow, 21-8, here forcing Griffith to make the error. Griffith tried to put up a fight as Best started off the second set slowly, but he built up the intensity within the rally, Griffith eventually going into the net. Best dominated both games, ending off the second with another sow, 21-8, as Best starts off the competition a 2-love winner. The nightcap game was between Therese Holder and Shaquan Henry, and it lived up to the expectation. Henry in all black showing off his skills, answering every call from Holder, who was also showing great form. But here, Holder executed the kill for the point. Still, it was Henry who had the early upper hand. The rallies were long, but once Henry got the opening, he capitalized. Holder, though, managed to deuce the first game after Henry found the net. However, Henry made sure to win on the next game point to secure the victory 22-20. Into the second game, and Henry continued to put up a fight, trying to secure the straight set victory. But in this second game, it was Holder this time to show off what he brought, Henry being undone here. And Holder would go on to prevail in the second game 21-11 to level the score at 1-1. In the third and decisive game, Henry took a 12-9 lead with some eye-catching plays. And though Holder would also have his moments to keep the contest close, it would be Henry to take the third game 21-18 and the match 2-1. Into some track and field now, where Barbados Masters and Seniors Athletic Club has returned home with 36 medals from the Pennsylvania Senior Games. The 12 BAMSAC athletes arrived at Grant Tilly Adams International to hugs and loud cheers from their relatives, friends and supporters as they sported their 21 gold, 13 silver and 2 bronze medals. This meet was a qualifier for the upcoming Seniors Olympics set to be held next year. And Secretary of BAMSAC, Marceline Christie, says from the preparations, she believed the team would have performed well.
Yes, I believe that we do have a very strong team. Our coaches, Coach Dennis Thornhill, Hayden Workman, Sandra Murray, and Hugh Fitt, will prepare us for the Senior Olympics next year, and we're mentally prepared for the training. So I believe that by next year we should be fully prepared.
Now, it isn't officially known as yet how many BAMSAC athletes have qualified for the Senior Olympics, as there are still more qualifying events to be completed. Now, Angela Holder, though, was BAMSAC's top performer at this meet with 7 medals, as she reached the podium in 2 field events, the shot put and discus, 4 track events, the 50, 100, 200 and 1500 meters, and also in the 5,000 meter power walk.
It feels really great, because most times we have a lot of people in the same age group in BAMSAC, so I would be the bridesmaid most of the time, because there are others in my age group who would excel. So I feel very proud to be, as you say, the top performer this time.
Now, Mark Norville, the oldest athlete on the team, secured gold in all 4 of his events, the 50, 100, 200 and 400 meter races. For him, though, the success was secondary.
Just I'd like to encourage more people of my age and over to get involved, because I'm finding that here very few people are willing to put in the work, the effort, when they are past 70, 75 and so on. But I think that we should encourage more people to get involved in athletics and the training and the kind of good health that it encourages.
And that's our news for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Good night.